What's the time difference? They're in Seattle, right? It's like
Yeah,
3 hours.
3
hours. 3 hours.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, would you like to testify, sir? Please sign it. The one on the right is just if you go sitting there. You just gotta.
Where's the body? Committee mo kami ano?
No, because he's in.
The main man. That's.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, thanks.
You need to unmute that.
Yeah. Then from the computer, you don't use the computer audio, right?
Yeah, only this one.
Use that one. Yeah, that controls all the sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes,
Okay.
thanks.
You need to unmute that.
Yes. The computer, you don't use the computer audio.
Yeah, only this one.
Yeah. All sound.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Once it's recording, then we can just. Oh, this is streaming.
Yeah, it's live. It's just not recording.
So we need to mute one.
Hey, Lanikila. I don't know if Auntie talked to you, but can you give us a welcoming opening protocol?
Sure.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Oh, this is streaming.
Yeah, it's live. It's just not recording.
We need.
I don't know if Andy talked to you, but can you give us a welcoming, opening protocol?
Name on the Zoom. So you don't hear.
Wait, don't we want the audio from the Zoom
That's what I thought.
and not the YouTube? Because the YouTube is delayed.
Right, so you turn that,
Yeah.
one live.
And then this one, I don't know the flyers for this. I think it's working, just no one's talking.
John, can you hear us? But I think he nodded his head.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
We're good then.
All right.
John, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Paul. Good to see you.
How's it, Noi?
Hi, Paul. Can hear me, I assume.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I have to get better in keeping track of who can and cannot attend the meetings, but why don't we wait a minute or so? And we actually have quorum anyway, but let's just wait a minute or so to see others. And at this point, I don't know, I'd like to welcome Pomai. Aloha Pomai. I don't know if you've met some of the other people like Gene and Doug Adams and Paul Horner. But because of conflicts in scheduling, we had some trouble hooking up. But Pomai, grateful that she can attend today's meeting.
Aloha nui yakako. It is good to see all of you. Aloha nui to Jean and Doug. At the Noi, of course. Aloha. Uncle Paul, it's good to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Really good.
Aloha. Send
Aloha
my
nui.
aloha to Chad.
Will do. Laura. Aloha.
Okay, so why don't we get the meeting started? I'll do a better job of keeping track of who can or cannot attend the meetings so that we know who to wait for or not. But at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Lanakila to help us open the meeting.
Oh yeah, mahalo. Let's go ahead and bring the Mauna back into the center here, from the nu'u and the vai, the waters of life that stream down from it. Yola. Mauna Kea kua hivi ku ha'oi tamali e ka piko olu o Mauna Kea e ku I ka hua o poliahu. Ka wahine ka pahau anu o Mauna Kea I mi ke la ki o vai ka pai au taho po kane. I mi ke la vai o vai au li luna o poliahu I sano e ataua. Ka ua noi pa upili hau o lili noi. Paana hale o makahi o ku ka haula. I ka ho'olale a ke hau makani o lalo. E nana I ho poliahu I ke ko. Ke aloha. Hola. Mahalo.
Hello, Lanakila. As we go forward, rather than asking Lanakila to do opening every time, we're going to start rotating. So I'll let you know in advance when your time will be to help us open the meeting with just sharing a bana'o prayer, whatever you think is appropriate. And maybe we're going to go alphabetical. So Doug, you may be up first. But I'll let you guys know just so that at this point, I'd like to introduce Laura. As all of you know, there is a new administration. Don Chang has been, I don't know if you call it the chair designee, but she has to go through confirmation hearings. Laura is the deputy director designee at DLNR. Don Chang has seen fit to ask Laura to be her representative designee on this authority. So maybe real quickly, just so that Laura can kind of get to know who everybody is, or just real quick, like name and I don't know, whatever you think is important for her to know about you. Okay, Paul, you first.
Oh, Paul. Oh, okay. Hey, aloha, Paul Horner. Most recently with Naleo TV, but I chose to resign and focus more on other things right now. And so I'll be remote for a little while, on and off, but I hope to be coming back to Hawaii again. I'm going back to Arizona for a little while. But Laura, I remember your name. Were you with the Trust for Public Land? Okay. I used to work at Waioli Corporation. And we were working with you to sell some of our land in Waipa so the Waipa Foundation could take it over. Yeah. It was awesome. But thank you very much. And I'm very proud and humbled to be on this board. Thank you so much. Aloha.
Rich, you're next on my screen, so you get to go next.
Okay, aloha, Laura. Rich Matsuda, Keck Observatory. Been working on the Mauna for almost 3 decades now, and the Mauna Kea Observatory is representative on this authority. So nice to meet you.
Tinoinoy. Ente.
Aloha. Aloha, Laura. This is me, Noinoi Wong Wilson. I'm from Hilo. I am the executive director, long time, of Mauna Kea Foundation, but I'm here as part of the community and I think a designee from the House of Representatives. Aloha.
Lanakila. I'm sorry. Apologize. Lanakila.
Aloha, Laura. Glad to have you with us. My name is Lanakila Mangwa. I've come from Honoka'a, Hawaii Island. He kia'i Mauna no wau. Let's see, I'm the executive director for Ho'a, previously the Hawaiian Cultural Center of Hamakua, and carry on that kuleana to represent cultural perspectives here. So, mahalo.
Gene.
Aloha, Laura. My name is Gene Val. I am on Maui, and I am currently a regent of the Board of Regents of the university, and I'm the chair's designee to this authority. Welcome.
Mahalo. Doug.
Aloha, Laura. Doug Adams, Director of Research and Development in the County of Hawaii, and I am Mayor Mitch Ross designee on this authority.
Pomai.
Aloha nui, Lara. For my brotherman, Waimea Hawaii, president of Nakalai Wa'amoko Ki'ave, and also lineal descendant. Aloha nui. Aloha.
Bonnie.
Aloha, Bonnie Irwin, Chancellor of UH Hilo. I am ex officio non-voting member of the authority.
Kamana.
Hey, aloha, Laura. Great to see you. Congratulations. Mahalo for all the work you do. And we know each other for a long time. Let's see. I think I'm representing the Aina seat on this awesome group.
And Laura, I'm John Komeiji, the interim chair. So welcome. Maybe you can spend a few minutes introducing yourself.
Excuse me, John, you forget Kalehua.
I don't see him on my screen. Sorry, Kalehua.
Because
on
you
my
probably have to open your screen up more so that you see all of us.
Okay, Kalehua, mahalo. I'm sorry, Kalamai.
No, yeah. Resident Waianae Oahu, principal at Kawaihono Kana'awa Public Charter School, I think the education seat.
Okay, anybody else? I don't know if I can increase how many people on my screen, but anyway, Laura, if you might introduce yourself and who you are and what you do.
Sure. Mahalo, John, and aloha to you and to everyone. Mahalo for taking a little bit of time to introduce yourselves to me. That was really helpful to understand where everyone's coming from. I am from Niu Oahu and have ohana connections to Kaneohe Oahu, all of Maui and Kohala on Hawaii Island. So I guess I should share too that this month of January, I'm sort of dual duty in my current position as CEO for Hawaii Land Trust and coming over as much as I can fit into the deputy director role. I will have to go through Senate confirmation as well, just to put that on your folks' radar. Chair Don Chang has asked me to serve on this authority, and she has shared that she really believes in the process. And maybe I'll just share a little of or maybe the main reason why I'm accepting this deputy director role is to hopefully help in my experience, both I was at the Trust for Public Land for almost a decade as their Aloha Aina project manager, and then I've been with Hawaii Land Trust for the last 4 years, and a big part of my work there, and hopefully with DLNR, will be to find the right framework to empower community stewardship of Aina, including the massive kuleana that DLNR has and caring for the 1.3 million acres and nearshore waters. So I have a strong belief in people coming together to care for Aina. And all of you serving on this board are doing just that in your volunteer capacity. It's really amazing. And Chair Chang definitely supports and believes in just allowing the process to move forward, and really wants to thank all of you for your time and aloha put into this. And yeah, that's all for now. Thank you, John.
Laura. Pomai, I know that you introduced yourself informally right before the meeting started, but maybe you can introduce yourself and tell people what's important that they should know about you.
Okay, mahalo nui. Mahalo nui ho. Ke aloha nui a kākou. My name is Pomai Brodelman. I come from Waimea, Hawaii. It is great to see everyone that is here. Many of you who we've known for, who are Kama'aina too for a long time. I am born and raised here in Waimea. My family has been here for many generations. So we do have a pili to this Aina from, to this pili to the Mauna from this particular Aina, typically, or the way that I put it is from our front door. I am currently the president of Nakalaiwa Amoko Ke'awe. We are the caretakers of the voyaging canoe Makali'i. We have a pilina also to that of Mahukona, and are in process right now with the Hawaiian Islands Land Trust to malama that space. And so just very grateful that the work with the canoes and pilina aina has brought our ohana and our voyaging family to a point where hewa'a he moku hewa'a is very real, where the island is the canoe and the canoe is the island. And so it behooves us to be able to be a part of amazing groups like this that that can envision and see forward into the future, how we malama aina and how we take care of aina. So ke aloha nui, aloha.
Oh, Pomai. With that, my understanding is that we have not received any written testimony in terms of community and public comments. I don't know if, Greg, if there's anyone present at your location that wanted to give any input.
No, Chair, that's correct. We have not received any requests and no one is in attendance to testify.
Okay, thank you. With that, we're still working through the process of how we take minutes, etc. So Carrie and I have been trying to work through this, but with that said, we have distributed the minutes of our November 22nd meeting. Are there any suggested amendments or changes to those minutes? If not, if I could get a motion to approve those, motion and second to approve those minutes.
Our attorney is trying to get your attention, John.
Okay, sorry.
Me, John.
Yeah.
I would ask that we either go into an executive session, short executive, or take executive session out of turn to address both the minutes before they're voted on.
Right.
As well, whichever the your preference would be.
Why don't we wait till after executive session to the executive session is currently scheduled for the end of the meeting to discuss whatever legal issues we have on this. So let's defer this matter to the end of the agenda unless there's any objection. Hearing no objections, we defer the approval of the minutes until the end of the meeting. Next section is governance. As we've discussed in the last meeting, we've created a permitted interaction group. I would like to say that I've asked Noi Noi to serve as the chair of that wig pig or whatever new definition she's given to it. She doesn't like the word pig, so whatever she wants to call it. But with that, I was going to ask her and then members of the rest of the committee if they would like to give us a status of what's been happening with the pig. And as you recollect, the pig was asked to, broadly speaking, look at governance and kind of organizational structure, as well as immediate staffing needs. So with that, turn it over to Dr. Wong Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The group did come together in December for a meeting, and I want to first let you know that we have added 2 new members that were named after the last meeting. And so the group now includes Kamana Beamer and Jean Ball. And the other members of the group are, named here. That was myself, Doug Adams, and Rich. Is that correct, group? Yeah. So there are 5 of us now who met, and then we do have plans to meet again in January, in the weeks coming up. But we have, of course, we're so early in the process, we have no report at this time.
As you guys may recollect, when you create a PIG group, the PIG is supposed to come back at some time with recommendations. Those recommendations will have to be publicly heard to allow testimony, and then in a subsequent meeting to that recommendation disclosure meeting, we'll vote on the recommendations as provided by the PIG. So right now, just to let you know that the PIG is in the process of meeting, but yet they don't have any recommendations, and we'll look forward to their recommendations in the near future and set that out for public comment before we take any action on our structure and organization. Anyone else want to comment on the PIG? If not, we're in the process of trying to hire an executive assistant. We have created a job description. We're working with the HR liaison from the DLNR, who's helping us to identify, correctly work through the process of a job description. So this executive assistant is somewhere between being clerical and having a higher position. And we're just not seeking a clerical position, but we're seeking someone that has some analytical abilities and writing capacity. But we're in the final stages of identifying that the job description for that person. This is not to be confused with an executive director position. The executive director, or someone that would be leading the organization, is another position that I'm awaiting the recommendation from the PIG as to who we should be looking at in terms of titles that we should be hiring for. So right now, it's my hope that we will post this executive assistant position, I'm sorry, in the next week, and try to see what kind of interest we can generate in terms of someone that can help not only the board, but the eventual executive director of this. Any questions about or comments about the executive assistant position? Okay, fiscal 2023 legislative appropriation. As you recollect, the original bill created a $14 million budget for the current fiscal year. And at the last meeting, we discussed whether or not we would try to roll over that $14 million or take some other action to make sure that we had some appropriation going forward. Happy to report to you that DLNR included a request in their budget for $14 million for the upcoming fiscal year. So that is going through the process, and we will be having a hearing before the Ways and Means and Waterland Committee of the Senate on Thursday that I and Noi Noi will be attending to answer any questions. And there's some issues that involve us consulting with our Attorney General, but there's some issues about the budget that I want to raise in the executive session. But generally speaking, I'm getting the feeling that people are very supportive of us. So I don't anticipate any issues with the $14 million. Having said that, there are some questions that we'll talk through with our attorney. Any questions about legislative appropriation?
Just to clarify, Chair, I believe the deal in our budget includes the 14 million in each of the two fiscal years of the biennium.
Correct. I'm sorry. You
Yeah.
should be more specific. Okay. December legislative briefing. And maybe Rich, you can take this because the request actually came in through you, right? A bunch of legislators wanted a briefing on the Mauna as well as, I guess, visiting the observatory. It started out with about 6 or 8 legislative leaders, ended up with 2. The 2 being Linda Ichiyama, who's a chair of water land use in the House, which is the committee that has been tasked with the Mauna Kea Authority as being part of that committee. And I forget her first name, Takenouchi.
I think it's Jenna.
Jenna Takenouchi, who is a brand new representative who will be the vice chair of that committee. So we had a briefing, and maybe Rich, you can just briefly describe generally what happened with that briefing.
Sure. The original intention was to visit some astronomy facilities on the Mauna, but we got weathered out. So what we did was met with Noi Noi and Lanakila at Pu'uhuluhulu, did a bit of an overview of the area, some protocol at the Ahu, drove up to the visitor center just so they could see the facilities there. And then we went to Halepohaku, had lunch and presentation by Greg Chun, CMS. Thank you, Greg, for that presentation. And then we had a little more time because weather prevented the trip to the summit. So we just had a little bit of a longer discussion. I gave an overview of the astronomy field just because we couldn't see it in person. And then let's see, we also visited did a little bit of a facility walk around of the Halepohaku area, including the dormitory areas and the greenhouse where they're raising ahina and things like that. So overall, good visit. I think that keeping our decision makers informed in this way and actually getting their feet on the aina is a good idea. So anything more you want, John?
No, I was going to open it up for any comments by Dr. Wong Wilson or Lanakila. We're both in attendance. I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, I think it was a good opportunity to talk story with them so that they kind of got a well-rounded view of what was happening on Mauna Kea.
Lanakila, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just supporting that. It was very well-rounded. We were able to speak from all different perspectives. I think really helped us set the stage of understanding what we're moving into to work with.
Okay. Any questions about that visit? I'm sure we're going to get more requests for additional visits by various legislators. Right now, it's not clear in the Senate under whose jurisdiction the Mauna Kea Stewardship and Oversight Authority will fall under. So we're waiting for the word as to what Senate committee will fall under in terms of being being responsible to them in terms of answering questions, etc. But the Senate, as you know, and the legislature convenes next Wednesday. So we're hopeful that we'll have some further clarity on that before next Wednesday. Executive session. So there are 2 items that wanted to bring up an executive session one that was raised. I'm not exactly sure on the minutes. And then secondly, a question that deals with the a question for our legal counsel as it deals with the legislative appropriation.
Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I would move that we would leave open session and enter into executive session for the variety of purposes that are listed somewhere in the minutes to consult with our attorney on questions and issues pertaining to the authority's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities pursuant to HRS 92A4 regarding governance, administration, and finance, and any other items that may need to be considered.
Thank you. Second.
A second. This is
Thank you.
Mauna.
Right. All those in favor? Any opposed? Not, we're now in executive session, so we'll ask, I guess, the people in the room to leave or somehow disconnect.
We'll move to the breakout room. I'll assign everybody.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So everybody go to the break room when you get the notification.
Right. Should the recording be stopped? I don't know how that works.
I can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we haven't received the notification to go into the break yet. Carrie.
Okay. I'll just.
Okay. Mm. Okay, like I said, I can't see everybody on my screen, but hopefully everybody made it back out of the break room.
We're still waiting for our attorney.
There should be 15 of us, there's only 12.
All right, this looks like we got, do we have 15? Okay, with that, the deferred item was the approval of the minutes of the November 22nd meeting. With the clarification that we received during our executive session, could I get a motion and second to approve the minutes?
Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 22nd meeting.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. Any
I'm
opposed?
sorry, I did have an item, I apologize.
Okay, go ahead.
Briefly. In the, on the last page in item 9, where that sentence starts, executive session begins at 6:25 p.m. and ends at 6:55 p.m. and it goes into chair notes. In future, I would just suggest that in future writings, future phrasing, that we make clear that this is a re-encapsulation of what happened in executive session, that it is not comments during executive session.
Okay.
I don't believe we need to make that change here, but for the future, I would suggest that.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Doug. That's point well taken. Okay, with that, all those in favor of the approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not, it's unanimously carried. I'd like to take up a subject and call on Mauna Kea. And just for clarity and transparency, this item was not and has not been discussed in the executive session that we just had. So Mauna Kea.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
I would ask that this be included under item 2 in terms of opening remarks so that it is located in a proper place for the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hello. So I just want to bring up an incident that kind of spanned from the Mauna onto the social media platforms. I was actually tagged on social media on a post that was made. This is about 2 weeks ago. And in general, it was a video that had showed some Kanaka trying to gain access up the Mauna. I believe it was during one of the snow times where the road was closed. But the primary incident was predominantly that a ranger in the video actually, I would say very inappropriately, steps in to say that that he had personally named myself as well as Auntie Noi Noi, that and as we are in charge or a part of the Mauna, we're in charge now, and made a statement that we had said that it is inappropriate to go up the Mauna when the road is closed, and it caused a very big stir online, and it created a very false narrative that I would think was would have a very negative influence, as it already in comments created a very negative stream of comments toward myself and Auntie Noi Noi, and then to the authority itself. And I first would like to know if this incident was brought to the attention or is noted by the university, as it was made comment public.
Yeah. So I know that Greg has looked into this incident. So Greg, maybe you can let us know what you determined about the incident.
Sure. The incident was brought to our attention, Mauna Kea, and we did sit down with the ranger and discuss the matter with him. I think he misspoke and misunderstood conversation he had with you and Noi Noi previously earlier that day or the day prior, whenever it was, when you folks were up there for the legislative briefing. So we have spoken to him about it and addressed it. That's all I feel comfortable saying right now, because it is starts to border on a personnel issue.
I think just my point I would like to maybe, or some way of this is, because what also has come of that was it's unclear to the community exactly, you know, that the authority, some, and what's been presumed now and what's kind of stated is that that the oversight committee already has governing powers over the Mauna and such too, and therefore issues was targeting this group. So if there's I think if a formal statement needs to be made by the university or ourselves to actually, I would say we have to be very clear with our community what the current situations are. And again, too, I think just re-educating as well as employees who are still with university of what the protocols are on even discussing these matters publicly too, because again, that was a misunderstanding, but really bringing up the board and members like that is clearly not what needs out of line. So there's a thought there.
Okay, let's do what we can to make sure that the situation is clearly identified and what remedial actions, Greg. So we'll figure out a way to do that. And in response to your question, remember right now until July 1st, 2023, especially for Laura, who hasn't participated in our prior meetings, we have been tasked right now with organizational setup, and that's the authority that we're working with now. We have not yet addressed the subject as to whether we have any ability to make any substantive decisions. For example, you know, do we take control of the road or any of those type of issues? Right now, what we've been counseled is that we have the authority to take up organizational building tasks, such as, you know, do we have standing committee, do we have officers, do we have employees, but nothing in terms of substantive decisions. So at this time, that's what we're currently working under, that understanding. Okay. Any other comments either on that situation or anything that anyone else wants to raise or would like to raise?
I think John, I'm just thinking that for myself coming in new, I can see how it might be confusing for the public to feel like, okay, there's this new authority, and that's a really helpful distinction that you just made. You know, day-to-day operations are continuing under the Center for Mauna Kea Stewardship, and this authority is tasked with setting up the appropriate structure for long-term future management. I wonder if there's just a helpful short clarification that could be put out there. I'm not sure. I don't know enough to have a recommendation. It's just a question.
Right. Yeah, so we've been counseled, like I said, that until July 1st, until the transition period begins to run, July 1st, 2023, that our action should be limited to the type of decisions about structurally setting up this new agency. For example, things like, you know, do we have other officers? Do we have standing committee? What does the organization look like? How should it initially be staffed? And those are the matters that the PIG is currently addressing and trying to come up with some recommendations regarding. Right now, we're proceeding under the path that we are not making any kind of operational substantive decisions, and don't have that authority until July 1st, 2023.
John, is it possible to send out a press release or something to that effect, to the community?
I
I'm
guess,
just saying, it
yeah.
might be helpful.
I try to figure out if the press release, I try to imagine what the press release, would that cause more confusion than less, I guess.
Perhaps, John, if I can.
Yes.
What the press release should lead with is the group's decision to hold our meetings, monthly meetings on a regular basis, if we've come to that point. I'm not sure we have yet,
Yeah.
but if it were to be every other, the second Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m., to just be able to say that to the community would be an announcement that they can anticipate, and then include in there the statement about how between now and July our task is to just address the institutional setup.
Good.
So, but
I
we
think-
have to decide if that is in fact are going
Right.
to be our standing meeting.
Yeah, I was going to raise that meeting issue last, but with that segue, is everybody comfortable with the second Tuesday of the month between 10 and noon? Any big problems with that? If not, let's just.
I was actually trying. Oh, sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
was trying to find the email that was sent out with the, what do you call that thing? The
Doodle. It was a doodle, I think, or something like that.
the doodle thing. I couldn't find it through. But Tuesdays is a work day for me, and it is a challenge. And so I think I was gonna put a recommendation on my behalf, that either Thursdays or Fridays would be more ideal for me. But I couldn't find the email with the doodle thing.
Okay, Friday, Friday 10 to noon. Does that create any problems for anybody? I'm sorry, Thursday, the second Thursday of the month between 10 and noon. Everybody good with that? Anybody have a problem with that?
I can make it work. There may be some days though that it presents a challenge for me, but I can make it work.
Okay.
On Thursday.
For my, okay. Okay, so why don't we go with Thursdays 10 to noon, and we'll craft a release along with what Dr. Wong Wilson suggested, also including the fact that we are focused on internal capacity building and structure until July 1st.
John, just a point of clarification, because the agenda for today's meeting says the next meeting is on Tuesday, February 14th. You want to change that to Thursday, February 16th then?
Yes.
Second February meeting date is the 10th, I believe,
It's the 9th.
or the
It
9th
would be
rather.
February 9th for the second Thursday in February.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Is there anything else that anyone else would like to raise? Okay, if not, mahalo everyone for your time. I'm sure we'll start getting more once the PIG decides where they think we should be going. We'll get more decision making. So I'll see everybody on Thursday, February 9th. Okay, mahalo.
Sorry, if I can just say one thing, John, just to let you know. So I'm actually leaving for New Zealand. So I will be on a plane on that Thursday. So I won't be able to make that particular meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Come on, I need somebody to carry your bags.
That was me. I was hoping to be put in one of the bags.
I'm
rough
free now.
assignment,
I'm a
rough
free
assignment.
agent.
Sorry.